I called her at like 1 in the morning. Are they in a different time frame? Are they different?
Yeah, 2 hours.
Okay. And she was like, I'm sitting here sweating, there's no air.
It was awful.
That's really rough. What place doesn't have, were you in a relative's or something? Or like some
We
kind
had
of
a
record?
VRBO and it was like this old historic house.
Yeah, they're all old.
It was beautiful. I mean, it was a really cool house. Just
Was it
not
nice?
when it's 90 degrees.
It's like, no, I'd rather have the crap motel with the air conditioning running, but not plastic.
Did you do all the witch stuff?
Oh, my kids did. I know. I wasn't better. It wasn't better. It was fun.
It's not one day there.
Were you on the Cape?
Yeah, we go to the Cape every summer.
And where were
It's like I
you?
remember.
Oh, Maine, Nova
Oh,
Scotia.
Maine.
Nova Scotia was hotter than
Yeah.
they were dying.
Was it flies bad?
But it was upper 80s and the
I swear.
humidity
Yeah,
was
so
so
it
high.
was unbelievable.
All right,
Here.
we ready? I'll call this meeting back to order. It is 8:37. We are going to proceed with agenda item, unless we want to change the agenda. Does anybody want to make a motion for the next? Otherwise, we would go back to agenda item 2A. Okay, 2A is consider the following fee schedule additions, loading zone fees. Mark?
All right, and again, I appreciate your involvement. The ask of staff is to review and come up with fresh ideas and perspectives to make sure that we have presented the board opportunities to evaluate those. So one of the items we came up when we were looking at our fee schedule is that the village does not have any loading zone fees, which is not typical, both from the perspective of taking staff time to administer applications, cost of signage, as well as the fact that is, in some essence, a privilege, which has some inherent value to it. So, we identified this as an opportunity to consider if the board wanted to look at applying loading zone fees as a gap to our current fee schedule. Again, basically the motion here would be to approve the adding to the fee schedule as proposed. Got that indented there in the memo, and then staff would come back if that was proposed with the appropriate revisions to section 500-10 of the municipal code to round that out and make it enforceable.
What's the fee that you're proposing? I know I can't find my memo, I'm sorry.
$150 for initial application, $100 for renewal. Loading zones are managed annually. And then additional fees in excess of 30 feet for a loading zone, the additional $250 a year, or up to 30 feet would be $250 a year, and each additional 10 feet would be $100 a year. And that's, again, the privilege portion of, from staff's perspective, how that was prepared.
Is there any liability insurance needed? It's a special privilege, correct?
I don't believe it is at this point. Well, I'm not certain if it is at this point.
And
I'm
then the
sorry.
ordinance to create a loading zone.
So there's no application at this point. I'm just trying to figure out, currently there's nothing. We just, someone comes, put in a request, and we go straight to board?
No, isn't the,
If it's not a special privilege, what is it?
The village manager is like the guru of loading zones, really, and then it comes to the board, put into the
It's not
code.
like an application, there's nothing,
We used to not have.
Phone call.
It can be done, it's either specifically adopted by ordinance or approved by me.
okay. And will there be an application that goes along with the, like a process?
Oh, sure. There would, yeah.
so we're basically
We
formalizing.
would create a process which would require initial applications each year with a renewal subsequent years to make sure that there's, again, kind of consistent with some of our discussion that all still pertinent and it's being used properly. And then again,
Inspection.
recommendation for, in addition to the general staff costs, the privilege costs of $250 plus $100.
Trustee Mento.
Yeah, I think this is great. I mean, it's, we are giving up public right of way for exclusive use of a particular business. This and the parklet, I think, are entirely appropriate to be charging some sort of fee for. So I'm just going to make the motion to approve to add it to the village fee schedule, fees for loading zones as proposed,
Effective on 1/19.
effective January 1st, 2019.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Trustee Maher.
I mean, this is gonna take, some of them are approved under ordinance, and they're in the ordinance where the
Change the
loading zone. And you gotta create a whole permit process, and you gotta move those off, you gotta notify the owners that they have to apply. I'm for
Right.
I just think, I'm not sure we need to approve the fees before, we can do it all in one time. Get what's needed to modify the ordinance, the application. When is it gonna take place when do they apply? How soon, early do they have to apply?
Kind of like the
This is
park.
all gonna be new, you're gonna have to notify the people, because they don't.
They don't even know to renew.
Yeah, there's no, it's not, they've asked
Yeah.
once, and there's no structure to this. I support it, I just think we don't need to approve the fees till we get the whole thing
That is kind
in place.
Okay, well, I'll withdraw my motion and I'll say move to direct staff to return with recommendations for ordinance amendments and fee schedules for loading zones.
and a permit process, including an application, correct?
I think that's all encompassed in my motion. I mean, we want staff to return with a process and
So-
process and fees and implementation for loading zone fees.
So a process change in regulations and proposed fees.
That's not just what I said, it's my motion.
Can you read back the motion? I don't
I
know.
have ordinance, move to direct staff to move forward with the development of a process ordinance and ordinance amendments needed to implement the loading zone fees.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Just
Trustee Warren.
one quick point, and I'm assuming process will encompass some sort of communication plan with the business.
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, yep. A lot of the questions that you asked tonight, they've already kind of thought through their approach in terms of how to go about doing that. So if you're in favor, we're going to move
And you'll
forward.
bring forward the app, so when we did the parklets, just, you'll bring forward like the application, because that you'll be using, like you'll develop the process, correct?
Yep.
And bring it to us, okay. Any further discussion? Trustee McKay?
Is there anything in this motion that does not, similar to other things? I guess there's consensus, it seems like there's consensus on the board of support that we're in favor of this. So is the motion strong enough to convey that really what it seems like we're asking for is we want to be involved in knowing what the process is that we're approving? And I just want to make sure staff isn't going to do all this work and then we decide, no, we're not in favor of it,
I see what you're
Does that
saying.
make sense?
Yes, so there is the motion indicate that we would be willing to support, like, what,
You want to be updated on what the process will be? Is that, and any necessary ordinance modifications that need to be done in order to facilitate the fees? Please tell me if I'm hearing.
no, I get it. Yeah, it sounds like we're all in favor of doing a loading zone, as suggested. We're just asking for the process to come back to us so we can review it and be involved in its, before we adopt the fee. So all Trustee McKay is asking is, do we need to say we're supportive and we direct staff so that you don't come back and we deny the fee?
Oh, right, I'm assuming that if you're providing us with this direction, we're moving forward. If not, we're.
As long as you feel that's strong enough. Okay? Is that okay?
Well, I'm hearing that you feel that's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Let the
All right.
record show.
We have a video.
Good, we're on the same page.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next agenda item is to consider the following fee schedule addition, parklet fees. Mark?
Again, when looking at our fees and the relative time involved in processing these requests, staff identified a gap there, as well as the fact that these fees do not include the implicit value of taking up street spaces which otherwise be used to generate revenues for the village. Again, this is gap identification. So consistent with those thoughts, we propose amending the parklet fees as presented.
Can you review them?
It's initial fee $250, annual renewal $100, and then additional annual fees of per 20 linear foot or portion thereof of $75 per month for parklets to be in the right of way.
And what's it currently? 35?
It is not in the fee schedule right now.
But we have an application fee.
Probably the special privilege, I'm guessing.
That's what I'm just asking, is what's
$50.
changed? So it's in addition to that 50?
This would be a pullout of the special privilege section. It wouldn't be an addition, it would be a substitution for this particular type of special privilege, is what my takeaway from our discussion with our staff who implement this. Obviously, I just do the numbers. So if that's something that's of interest to the board, motion effective 1/1, either as presented or as amended, would be up for discussion.
Trustee McKay?
I would make a motion as stated in the memo.
Second.
Any discussion? I have a question. So it's my understanding that the parklet and the on sidewalk tables are under the same application, and that the application fee is, maybe you know more than I do, when someone applies for outdoor seating,
I believe it's just another special privilege.
and it's $35 or something like that.
I think so.
Okay, so what are we modifying? We're modifying the application fee or for the special privilege?
No, this would be its own, for specifically parklet.
So we create a new application? I just, because he said it's not in addition to the application fee, I just want to make sure that we're using the same application for outdoor seating. There's a fee associated with that. I don't know what it correlates with.
The fee that was proposed was specifically for parklets,
I understand.
not outdoor seating.
But I understand, so, but there's a fee associated with that application. I believe it's $35. So I'm just wondering how it's structured, like, is this the, so this is a fee for parklets for the special privilege, is it in addition to that application fee? And the reason I ask is, I don't think I'd support this until I heard from the business community. And the only reason I say that is, I've always said, and I repeat it all the time, things that you want to promote, you regulate less and you charge less, and the things that you want to restrict, you charge more. And one of the things that Parklets was instituted to do was bring the community together as a benefit also to the business community, to allow them to have more tables. But in general, they work to bring the community together similar to a block party. And so I feel that I wouldn't want to charge more than outdoor tables because it's a similar concept. So, any trustee McKay?
The question is, if we're creating a separate fee for a parklet, would a business who wants to have tables in the right of way and a parklet essentially be submitting two applications and be reviewed?
That would generally be my
Understand?
understanding, and again,
It's
if with consultation with staff, that it is clear if we list the specific type of special privileges for outdoor seating, parklets, and perhaps other, and we list fees associated with those for clarity, so it's not implied that you have to pay one on top of the other. We can certainly do that at the administrative level as well.
I am comfortable with it because the concern from the residents has been, other than concerns about, traffic and safety, which has not been an issue, is just the loss of the parking space and that is very valuable. And so I think it is a distinct privilege. So I do support it. And I'm not I'm not 100% against. A business has to decide if they want right-of-way seating and a parklet. In my mind, they are two separate things, so I wouldn't be against structuring that that way.
Okay, any further comments?
So where did we end up on the, it's $100 for commercial special privilege? So are we requiring them to have two separate permits? With the seating and sidewalk and one with the parklet?
Parklets would be a separate application, is my understanding of how the intent to